tuning in. We have to try this again because YouTube felt appropriate to close my live. So unfortunately, we were starting to get a nice little following here as it just started. But now with it restarting, I highly doubt most people will come back. So if you're tuning in, I greatly appreciate it. I want to start it off with a little Peter shift, as I said before, but most of you wouldn't have seen it. I want to show you this little bit of information, and we'll do this live as good as possible. Unfortunately, YouTube has restarted my live, so it's probably going to affect the viewership here pretty much. But, you know, it is what it is. Eddie, welcome in. Hamza, good early afternoon. Janthony, welcome in. CJ2 Pilot, thank you for coming back. Please, this is very important for everybody. Hit the like button and share this for me since YouTube decided to restart this. We will do the best we can, and I appreciate everybody for coming back. Miss Vicky, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming back. No, I did not kick you out, John. Hala, welcome in. Yeah, that was YouTube, unfortunately. Janthony, good early afternoon. JW, welcome in. I greatly appreciate you tuning in. I greatly appreciate everybody who found their way back. I'll timestamp this in just a minute. Let's do the old Peter Schiff thing real quick.
In a minute. I'm just trying to... Oh, cool. So here's the next point I tweeted about. I couldn't believe this. So Powell started talking about the risks of inflation being too low again, right? He said that inflation can be too high or too low, and that both are risks. And he said that for a while, we had the problem of inflation being too low. And he said now, you know, it's too high. But he's worried that at some point in the future, it's going to be too low again. And now he's going to have to deal with that problem. Like, that's a great problem to have because, A, it's not even a problem. But the consumer can use some relief. But low inflation was never a problem. That was a made-up problem so they can have an excuse to create more inflation. Now we've got a real problem of inflation being too high. Remember, it was in 2020 when Powell first introduced the concept of inflation averaging, where he said, you know, we don't have 2% as a target. We want inflation to average 2% over time because they wanted to justify letting inflation get to 2.25%, 2.5%. They didn't want to have to put on the brakes when we hit 2. They wanted to make up for all the years where we were below 2. So they redefined their target to an average inflation rate of 2%. Yeah, no one talks about that now. I mean, they haven't officially changed that. I mean, how many years are we going to have 1% inflation to average it down to 2? Because even the Fed doesn't claim it's going to get inflation down to 2% until 2025.
So just pay attention to what he's saying. Let me timestamp this real quick. Good early afternoon, 1:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, October 29th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. As we can see, TradingView does what it does best. Works like shit, as usual. As you know, it always, if you're a fan of TradingView, it always deletes what you have on there. So you always have to re-upload your ticker symbol. It does it with a bunch of my stuff daily. It's such a pain in the ass. Let's see. Ty, welcome in. John Hall, good afternoon. Frozen. I don't know if it's frozen. I wouldn't be surprised. But if yours is frozen, I suggest you restart it. But you won't be able to see me say that if it's frozen. Morning, Toms. Thanks for the knowledge as always. What's new? What's new, David? Not much. Oh, so now everybody's is froze. Excellent. Can anybody see me or is it frozen? So YouTube already stopped my stream once and now it's froze up. Fun times, fun times. So if anybody can see me right now, please let me know. Okay, beautiful. So if anybody can message in the comments, just tell the ones you can't see, tell them to reset their stream. It does that a lot. It does that a lot on YouTube. So what's new? The main thing is all we have to pay attention to is I've been talking about, if you watched the earlier update, I just want to rehash it. Right now we're in what looks like a bull flag setup. I know it dropped from a big upper level of around 63 cents, came all the way down to, what was it, 43.6 cents. It created a bear flag, but above it, when it pulled up on the second wick, because this was only a wick down, it created a bull flag. You should properly identify this as the bull flag, where I'm pointing the arrow, And this should have bounced off of the, if we were correct, the 523 level, which is exactly what it did 3 days ago or 2 days ago on Friday. Yesterday we had a nice hold candle. Today we've got a long leg doji, which signifies if this candle is moving down and this is a reversal, this could be telling us, assuming we finish off like this and we can hold this new high at 55 cents or 55.1 on this candle, that should push us out to start the week, and this should play off the small flag. If it breaks below and you were to see it close before the weekend, or even on this weekly candle, if you've seen it close below 55 cents, you don't really want that. Only because I would like to see a weekly close above that 55 cent newfound resistance and use it as a support. This is pulling down very nicely in the weekly to where it kind of looks like, to me, an inverted hammer. It started all the way up at 586 on the top of the wick, came all the way down to the candle body at 546. But it pulled down a little bit farther than that even. It came to 534. The bottom of this entirety of this candle on the weekly is 507. So that would be a heck of a start to next week. If you see this next weekly candle start above that 55 cent area, it's very important. I think it's very important. So if you see this candle, as we can see a W reversal within here, if you see this close above here at 55 cents, then we start pushing out to start the week. The dailies to follow or the weekly to follow, you'd want to start using 57 cents as the new support, but you have to work by level. This W reversal, how are we going to put up this arm part for the W if we're not going to have another weekly close here? You have to. That's why I said in the beginning of the week, it's going to be a very slow week because you're maxing out at 58 and you can go all the way back down to 50. You can come down a little bit lower. But the point is that this candle, you're stuck within it and you really don't want to be below 55 unless we validated a retest of what we are identifying as a bull flag and not a bear flag. Even though it's there, the bear flag would be set up like this more appropriately. It looks harder to see in the weekly, but in the daily, this is what the bull flag would look like, and that's what a lot of people are using here. I disagree because I think what it formed was this bull flag outside of the wick, and I think this is a better interpretation of what we're seeing here. Could you go up a little higher? Sure you could. But I decided to come through this wick and then use the top of the body of this candle because there was a lot of strength when it pulled down, and at least you got the body formation. So I chose that area. Could you do it slightly different? Of course you can. It's up to your interpretation. But this is the way I perceive the market, and guess what? When it came down for the consolidation, we knew exactly what it was doing. We weren't tricked. We knew exactly where it could go, and as long as it stayed above there, that's fine. We didn't want to come back to the pivot point at 524 unless it drags out and all of a sudden you start to see us getting hit by the 55, and then it has to come down for consolidation to push up to 55, 57, and rally out to the end of this formation. Right now we're trying to consolidate here and confirm this as we've had a bullish cross here in the daily, or it's crossed, but we've invalidated the death cross. Now after today's daily candle close at 55, it should invalidate this completely. This should no longer be crossing even the 20 crossing the 100 as it's come through the 250. Now it needs to come through the 100, and that's going to confirm a short-term pattern reversal. Now, in order to, you can confirm a short-term pattern reversal, but in order to validate it for a push out, we need to get back over the rising channel at 63 cents. It's just, I don't make the rules. This has been an overwhelming resistance since back here in September of 22. The support started in June of 22, and we have not been able to get outside of it. When we did, we made a new swing high at 937. Did nothing more than finish off this cup and handle and put in what looks like at the moment a bearish handle on the cup, but it very well could swing around and pull up, and if you can retake, first 63 is so important. Then you can start working on the overall pattern. That's still in the short-term pattern. This is the overall. You break 65 or 63, then and it's convenient because it's right there on the cup and handle on that drop point that started the bear flag but was disguised in the bull flag. We still have the golden cross in the weekly. That's never gave way, as I stated it wouldn't. As long as the weeklies converged like they were, we weren't low enough for it to break. Now is the first week, if it was down here at around like 48, 46 maybe, it could have broke the weekly golden cross. However, we are well above that 524 pivot point. Isn't that crazy how it works into that pivot level, the weekly 20-day support now? Because we're showing a signs of a possible pattern reversal here, which it was a fake out to the downside if it is a pushback up. But it was a great way to garner liquidity like we talked about after the initial push up. So I think it's very hard to trade in the futures market doing within an accumulation phase, I get a lot of people that tell me I'm wrong, but I'll stand pat in that point. When you're futures trading, the little moves we got in the last couple of days would have liquidated you anywhere from 10x up, even 5x up on the initial drop. You would have been done. But the most important reason why I think it's very, very difficult to try to watch the patterns each and every day and then futures trade, it's simple. When you're futures trading, let's say you're on a 10x long, you're going to find every reason on the pattern to support your long agenda. If you're short, you're going to find every reason in the book to show you why it should be going down still. You're not going to look at the objective. You're not going to look to see, yeah, there was a death cross, but it's invalidated. The golden cross is intact. Yeah, it looks bearish overall, but the breakout here is bullish. Until it breaks back below first layer 532, or actually, I don't like that 532. I think it's like, I guess it is 532. I thought it moved up a little bit, but as it comes down, 532, we'll just keep it there. 532, and then ultimately lose that 524. What I'm saying is if you fall right now back to the pivot point, you don't want to fall yet. You'll squeeze yourself between this formation now and this pivot, and then that could bring you right back down to here, and then you have to fill out and then possibly break out. I don't want it to do that. I think we've done enough to where if it just bounces around now, could it have done it right here? It could have, but we have to see how it breaks out. So I'm taking it by level. So now you go down to the 4-hourly. We're holding support on the 20-day, which is a very important proposition here. This is very important to show the short-term narrative. If you can use the 20-day as support, you're damn right you're using that daily and pushing out, and you're going to end up invalidating completely that death cross. Then we're going to try to confirm that invalidation. So that's what I'm seeing, everybody. It freezes on me often, but I just exit. Yeah, I hate that it does that. YouTube is not very kind to me. I believe they shadow ban me at the highest level. But through persistence, through all of you, through the dedication you show me and sharing this content, they can shadow ban us all they want, but they can't shadow ban you sharing my content. They can't shadow ban you sharing it to another social media site so somebody can see it. They can't shadow ban you into not hitting the like button. That's one surefire way to kick back. So that's what I'm seeing with XRP. The other good thing today is the market cap. When I did my update this morning, I'd only put on about $500 million. Now it's up to 620 million. That's 62% of $1 billion now. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. We're almost up to 2/3 now. That's up 2.12%. We're at 29.8 billion. Did we break the objective yet? No. Have we come to it? No. Why is 30.89 billion so important? That's the 57-cent mark like we've talked about. So important. So important. You get over 30.89 billion, you're on top of 57 likely. That's your barrier right there. And then if you want to work it all the way up to 33.15, then we can get up to 63 cents. But in order for XRP to get up to 63 cents and some change, I theorize we still need to gain about $4 billion here. We're only at 29.8 billion, when in my estimates, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, I believe we have to come up to 33.15 to get to 63 cents. That's just my own personal interpretation of the chart. This was my interpretation of the breakdown, how it met the lower levels. I never put in the new flag because it was unnecessary in this formation, the way I had it set up. I could have done this in the other charts, but I said I would keep this for the market cap to show this interpretation. These you don't even need. This was to see if we could do a first layer. This is invalidated. We're firmly within this. What's $1 billion? Yeah. So if it's legal where you're at, as you know, federally or well, statewide, it's legal in Michigan. I can go to a dispensary and just walk in and buy it. I can grow it up, whatever. So if you want to join me, I encourage you to join me with some cannabis. Relax. I don't like calling it weed. I don't like saying we're going to get stoned. I just like to say we're relaxing and it's cannabis. I don't like to talk about all the, oh, I'm all cool and hip. I'm just doing what I do. And anybody can tell you I'm very unhip. The hippest I am is because I do things in my own way. That makes me hip. I don't follow the crowd. So I may not be cool like all of the people that claim they are, but what I am is I am true to myself, and that makes me the coolest. Sunday fun day indeed. I love Sundays. Unfortunately, I'm not coaching this week because we made our championship run and the season ended last week. I was very proud of that. And now this week I had a little more time on my hands on Sunday, so I figured I would do a live and reconnect with everybody. I don't know how many people would have tuned in had it have not shut off on us when we were off to a hot start. But I'm proud of 42 of you to re-find your way back here, and 40 of you to already hit that like button. That means so much more than anybody can ever imagine. So that's the market cap. Unless we're putting in a right arm here, it really looks like we're starting to break back out. This is the exact way I wanted the weekend to go. I wanted us to reconfirm 55 cents, and I've been very, very diligent in saying a few words in my updates, and I've tried to build a narrative like yesterday. You've been tricked. We are not bearish. XRP looks to confirm rally to 63 cents because we were down at 53 and some change yesterday when I did that. It was a bearish, just like on Friday. XRP holders, do not skip this. It will cost you. Don't be fooled. XRP is still bullish. Unfortunately, not a lot of people watch. Like when I do stuff like XRP divides October norms, I put an entire chart out there to show you what's norm and what's not. Only got 570 views. Midday market report, 361 views. Can do a lot better than that. XRP looks to hold 55 cents, continue bullish setup. Came down on a wick, does it again. I mean, it's all here for us. It's all here for us. All the information. The midday markets report do between 400 and 600 views on average. Some of them do 300, like 430 there. I like to look with everybody watching, 303. For some reason on Tuesday was some volatility in the market to the upside. So we had 632 on the midday market report. But it's about 400 views per midday market report, I've noticed. Good 400 views. So I do appreciate everybody watching that. But it is very informative. I don't charge for any of this. So a lot of people will pay other YouTubers to get the information I put out for free. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Then they complain to me about it later. Well, hello? If I'm putting it out for free, why the hell would you go somewhere else? If I don't need to put a price tag on it, obviously it works for me to where I don't need your money. That's the point. I don't need to bedazzle you into paying me so you can get information. If you want to send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army, that's one thing to pay it forward for my time. But other than that, this is a free educational learning platform. I don't believe in taking advantage of social media to drain somebody of their funds. I think we should all help advance each other. With that comes more viewers. With more viewers becomes more advertisement for YouTube. And then, I get ad revenue. I make like $900 or $1,000 a month through revenue. It's small pennies compared to most. But, it is what it is. Anyhow. That's the cool thing about social media. That's the cool thing about social media. You can pick to be who you want to be. I've chosen to be somebody different than everybody else in the masses. I said from day one, I'll never charge you for this content. I never have. Some people said once I got a little bit bigger, I would. I don't know. When do you draw the line? 18,600. Don't you think if I was going to do it by now, I would have? I get so many offers that I don't even need to do updates anymore. I could legitimately do a sponsored take twice a day and make like $4,000 to $7,000 a week easy. And that's not a joke. It would cost you guys a lot of money because you'd get caught up in scams, but I'd be rich. I'm already rich in the sense of I have everything I need, but I'm talking rich in the terms of, hey, he's a millionaire, hundreds of millions of dollars. Would that make you respect me more if I cheated you? Depends. It's in the eyes of the beholder. So W reversal here in the 4-hourly as well. It really does look like we're going to try to push up and try to test in the days to come that 57 cents. I love this pattern setup right here because it makes it easier to see for you. But I also love this chart because I have my pivot points above. 55 is key and 57. Some ask me, well, Tom, how did you get these? Simple. I think it's simple. So when we broke out of here on the initial move, we had a technical breakout. We basically come up. We hit a new resistance where this formed right here. And we formed this downtrending resistance. And then if you go back a little bit farther, we kept coming up to 55 here every single time. We could not push and hold that 57. Came back through 55, resisted, and that becomes bearish. You get on top of 57, we know we push out. But every time we get rejected at 57, it will come back to 55, reject, and come through. When we're holding in these levels, 55, 57, it bounces out. Came through 55, but can form the V back here on 57, pushed out. So 55 is great, but that ends up being a parabolic resistance point if the pattern's bearish. That's why I keep prefacing this has to stay above 55 to start the real rally. And then it has to confirm a hold over 57 to validate the push up so you know it's going to 60. There is nothing in between there. Yes, 58 stopped it on a wick. That's not a, unless you want to talk about the 586 resistance, I'm assuming if you get on 57, that 586 is just going to be one of those pivot points within the level. But I assume, or I can concede the fact that if we were to come up to 585 or 586, that pivot point, and break back below 57 immediately and use it as resistance, we've got a problem. That could put a double top in and we would have a problem. Anything short of that, this is looking very nice. The only thing I would like to see is more volume. The volume is trash. I'm an XRP lover, but I'm not going to lie to you. XRP's volume right now is horrible. Horrible. You're talking a 4-hour time frame. You got 1.89 million, 1.32 million, and 555,000 in the first hour and a half here on Binance. Let's see if it looks slightly different on the Bitstamp. Bitstamp got 535, 991, and 1.0. No. So Binance I like to use because it's a higher threshold. But still, that's not a lot of volume. The sell volume was terrible, though. When you see that sell volume on the W reversal, it makes it look like it's supporting another move up. So we came down for validation. That's in the 4-hourly. Now, what happens if we pull it into the daily? How does the volume look? You come back here, it looks pretty good. 78. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's better than nothing. Then you come down here, you got the consolidatory candle, 13.6. You got the reversal on the hammer candle, which it did turn out a little bearish on that hammer candle. There's no doubt about that. But at least it still ended up a hammer candle, and it's going to depend a lot on this next one after today. So we're going to see very quickly what's going to happen tomorrow. If we start out bearish and we start out under 54.1, it's not good. If we start out tomorrow and we're over 55, especially 56, maybe 57, by the time that daily candle closes, not today's will be a good one, but tomorrow's daily candle, if we close above 57, ooh. If we have another, let's put it this way, if we have another 2.3% move tomorrow, it's not asking a lot. That'd be a huge for the mentality of XRP. With Bitcoin, how did we get here? Well, Bitcoin's in the broadening wedge, as we talked about. Bitcoin has 2 inverted hammer candles, it looks like, after a consolidatory candle. So if these are trying to show us that maybe we have more strength than we see here, we could start out hot to start the week, and your technical move would be 37,863. We know that on a hold at 34K. We know we're in a broadening wedge, so we know on a hold, our technical breakout, we've already targeted it. It can go higher, obviously, if we hold that level, but that's our technical breakup on the top of the broadening wedge. And then if you see Bitcoin under 34,000, you can always trend back down to that 31,000 level. That's why it's so important. And then with the Bitcoin dominance, and you know, I think I put out everything I want to, so I'm gonna end this after this. I greatly appreciate everybody, I really do. If you want to show me that extra support, you can always join Tom's Army, send a YouTube super chat or whatever you feel the need to do. But for now, with Bitcoin, the dominance, and I'm thinking at a 68% chance right now, and I thought this from the beginning, it was way farther down here when I said it. Now it's like, oh, 68%, that takes some balls, huh, from right here. That's only 3%. Well, it took a little balls from 49%. The first say it was going to hit here at a 99.9% clip. I said 100 at first, but I said nobody can say 100 for sure except our Lord and Savior. So I said 99.9. And it came up there and we use it as support. Now I'm saying at a 68% ratio, we can come up to 57. There's always the chance the US dollar drops real hard and altcoins spike faster. But with what I'm seeing, I'm not expecting that. You could have a small bearish tendency here if we lose the 20-day. So if we lose that 54%, that could make us come down and hit consolidation. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you appreciate what I do, please make sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel and joining Tom's Army to pay it forward. If you're looking for XRP, look in the video description below. If you're looking for a way to buy it, worldwide users, MEXC, USA, FEMEX. It's that simple. Other than that, I really appreciate everybody. All over YouTube, everyone is saying, how low and manipulative. Yep, that's all we're getting. That's all we're getting. JW, you're welcome. Everybody have a blessed day. But that's the truth. Everybody's telling us why XRP sucks, why it's so bearish, why crypto is going to go lower. but nobody's showing you the agenda at hand. What happens when the US dollar dies and everybody's got to put their money in things, speculative things? I know 99% of people I talk to don't own precious metals. So their speculative asset's going to be crypto. That's a lot of liquidity to come. They might get burned, but there's a lot of liquidity to come. Take care of each other. The way you treat each other is a big indictment in how humanity's flowing. And I can tell you it's not good. Humanity's not flowing in a good direction. So it's up to us to stay positive. We kill off those negative vibes. Take a look through my comments section when you get a chance, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's always about somewhere between 3 to 5 comments per video, maybe 10, 20, depending on how popular, where somebody has to put in a negative, kind of connotation with XRP, or why it's a pile of horse shit, or why the community doesn't know, all the stuff. That's where the light comes in. You are the light. When you speak in positivity, when you speak educated, and when you speak with kindness and love, and you put people over instead of putting them down, you start to outweigh the darkness, so those people tend to go away. The light always extinguishes the dark. The dark always shines the light through. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. We all work in unity. We need to do a better job. Stay blessed, everybody, and take care of